cleared an increase in visas of temporary non-immigrant workers, which largely includes H1B and I1 visas issued by Indian IT companies. This as a part of an omnibus spending bill in the US. The move created a chaos for the Indian IT sector, which is expected to see a hit of $400 million on an annual basis by the visa increase. That's according to industry body NASSCOM. But looks like the Indian government is not taking this lying down. India has filed a complaint against the United States over non-immigrant temp working visas as per a statement by the WTO. As per WTO, the Indian government has filed a complaint claiming that these measures appear inconsistent with commitments between the United States and India and have been made treating Indian workers in sectors such as the computer services, that are IT services, less favorable than US citizens. Now, the United States has 10 days to respond to that request. If India and US are unable to come to a joint agreement, the dispute will then go to the dispute settlement body of the WTO. That is, if an agreement is not reached. Now, let's understand this further. Joining in now on the phone line is the president of NASSCOM, Chandrashekhar. Chandra, many thanks for speaking to CNBC TV 18. You know, you've been battling this cause for quite some time. Put this into perspective for me, because we thought that the deal is pretty much gone through. Indian IT industry has digested the pain. What can happen now, if at all there is some kind of an agreement that is reached? Will they withdraw the entire spending bill?
Well, I'm not sure how it would play out within the US. But let's take first things first, which is what happens as far as the WTO is concerned.
Yeah.
So in the WTO, I think the government has taken the position, which we had also taken and which we had shared with all of you, that we believe that the measures being taken by the US were discriminatory. And that was the more fundamental objection, apart from the fact that they were also imposing additional costs and making the industry less competitive and the services more expensive. So the fact that it is discriminatory is what makes it a fit item to be taken to the WTO as a discriminatory tactic, which violates the agreement there.
But, Chandra, how much of a relief can this be for Indian IT players? Because I remember you did say $400 million on an annual basis, but individual IT companies have, differentiated. For instance, TCS has said about 50 to 60 basis points. Infosys has said something different. Can you quantify the kind of relief that will come in for Indian IT players if at all this is taken up?
Well, to the extent that it is moderated, the relief will be commensurate. So if it is completely off the table, then that $400 million will not be incurred.
Okay, let me also just help me understand, Chandra. If at all there is a mid-agreement that is reached, what can be the various agreement? I believe that you have been having conversation with the Commerce Minister and various government bodies as well. What is the kind of agreement that can be assessed? Would India be willing to take a partial visa increase as a part of this, or are they asking for a complete withdrawal?
Well, the argument being that this is discriminatory, I think a partial agreement is difficult to envisage, because you can't say that, I'm against discrimination, but if it is half discrimination, I'm okay with it. So I think the root of it is whether it is found to be discriminatory or not, and whether the US accepts that it is discriminatory or not, and then corrects that anomaly.
All right.
This is not as we see it, a matter where you can negotiate saying, okay, let's settle at a halfway house, and then it's fine.
Okay, fair enough. Last question then, Chandra. You were at Prime Minister Modi's visit to the Silicon Valley, where there were multiple discussions with government bodies to be able to increase software spending, so on and so forth. What does this mean for India and United States trade relations as things stand at this point in time?
I think that, the India-US trade relationship is fundamentally a strong one. The potential is even higher, and that's what had been agreed at the strategic economic dialogue, that there is potential to raise it from the current level of a little above $100 billion to as much as $500 billion, that the current level is not commensurate with the two economies of the size of India and the US, and two countries which have a fairly good relationship economically and politically and want to take it forward, and which are building a strategic partnership. So those fundamentals, I think, remain very much in place. And this is also evidenced by the fact that in the recent months, there have been a string of major business deals which have been had with the U.S. and where the U.S. economy has been the beneficiary of large contracts. So what I think the signal that is being given here is that, this relationship cannot be a one-way street where on the one side there is access to the Indian economy for the U.S. economy, but on the other side there are increasing restrictions being placed in the U.S. economy in areas of interest to India, and IT is obviously one of the big areas in that context. So I think that message and signal is loud and clear, and perhaps the pointing out that this is highly discriminatory is the other important message which goes out.
All right, Chandra, appreciate you joining in on CNBC TV 18. Let's see how things unfold there, but time for a